Alright guys, welcome to the E3 2014 post-show. Nick, we have a lot, and I mean a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, you sure got that one right.
We have so much stuff. We can't tell you everything. There is no way. There's no possible way, but
we might also miss on a couple games. We're going to try to hit at least on all the big ones.
All the big ones, and we will try to show you some gameplay footage if we can, dig some up. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with Project Morpheus for PS4. We didn't get a chance to play it, but we did get a chance to get a really good look at it, and it's pretty intriguing, but I do have some concerns. What are your thoughts on Project Morpheus?
Overall, it looked like it kept up with your head. Looking at the screen when the guy was playing it, that I was watching, it definitely uses the PSI or the camera,
right?
As well as they were using move controllers to swing a sword around, as well as bow and arrow. As I saw, you actually pull back, let it go. I remember seeing a monster come down, and literally the guy would be looking completely up and down, and I mean, it was almost like you could turn yourself around 360 from what it looked like.
Yeah, and I noticed that the graphics, though, on the Project Morpheus games, like the developers, it's almost like they're like little demos. They're not like full-fledged games.
Yeah.
But the graphics weren't up to par, except for maybe the use of Alien Isolation, which really that would be one game that I would want to actually have a Project Morpheus, for.
We actually did get to see a little trailer clip of the alien actually impaling the guy, and you could actually look down and see the tail going through him.
It was disgusting.
That was really cool.
It was awesome, though, yeah, and if you can just picture being in that alien universe with being able to look up and down and in a 360 degree, and then the alien jumps behind you and just impales you, and you were actually able to see, it brings a whole nother level of fear into the game. My concern about virtual reality and this whole thing, is it another 3D TV or 3D fad that gamers are just going to be like, man, I'd rather have my controller?
Yeah, I was also thinking along the same lines too. Like, how many games are really going to come out of the bat and actually, provide their game to work with Morpheus?
Right. How many developers are actually on board with virtual reality as opposed to just creating a game for a controller, which, of course, Alien Isolation is a controller-based game.
It is that technology that I could see it being more than the fad, but until we really get, even more information out, I think right now I'm still a little skeptical.
I am too. I feel like...
It's a great idea and great concept.
It is, but how long has virtual reality been around, though?
Virtual Boy?
Remember that? Virtual Boy. I mean, but it wasn't true virtual reality. It was just like red colors or whatever, but... I mean, I remember playing virtual reality just in an arcade, like, when I was, like, 10, So, it's a technology, guys, that has been around for a long time, and the question is it a fad, or, what is the deal with virtual reality? Please type in your comments. We would love to know your opinions on the matter. I mean, I'm still a little skeptical, but it is a cool concept.
Yeah.
So, moving on, Tom Clancy. Yeah. Our good old friend Tom Clancy, we all know and love Ghost Recon and all other
Rainbow Six. Yeah, you name them.
Speaking of Rainbow Six, I am so crazy excited for Rainbow Six Siege. It may be one of my top 3 at the show, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a closed game to pretty much... Only the media could see it. Unfortunately, we don't have media passes.
Assholes.
At least yet. But from what we heard from people that were coming out, that the game looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you guys saw the E3.
Probably the exact same trailer we saw.
Yeah, the trailer.
But it's enough to get excited about. I love the way that they're trying to bring back the classic Rainbow Six, as opposed to, like, tactical shooter, breaching doors, windows.
Team-based, making sure that you're all breaching at the same time.
And this game totally, guys, has the ability to be competitive, without a doubt.
Yeah.
The graphics in this early look that we saw, the graphics are just crazy awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I am so pumped for this new Rainbow Six, and I can't wait to see more in the future.
Yeah, they definitely said that the game will be called Siege, and that Patriots is not going to be
Right, they completely scrapped Patriots, guys. Like,
Yeah.
this is like a whole new direction that they're going. All that early, if you look back at last year's E3, they kind of touched base. Like, I don't know if you remember the trailer, maybe we can pull it up for you, but the bridge was blowing up, and it was like a whole different game. It looked like almost like a Rainbow Six Vegas type style.
Yeah.
And now they're literally going back to...
And those are the ones I liked.
Right, the
I love those
originals,
stuff.
right? Yeah. So they're going back to the roots of Rainbow Six, which I completely support. I think it's fantastic.
So there's another one, from Tom Clancy that happened to be there, which was The Division.
Yes.
This one we actually did get to see actually an additional gameplay trailer.
Yes.
Well, footage. It was actually they were actually playing it for us.
And how about them freaking graphics, man?
Yeah.
Probably one of the best looking games we've seen this year at E3.
Yeah, by far.
The what do they call it? The Snowdrop engine. Man, this engine, guys, it will change gaming. This is almost like a leap forward, like the Unreal Engine was for Epic.
Yeah.
This engine is just crazy with its just environments, the way the
overall
lighting.
detail.
It's
too.
crazy. Like when you hit something with a bullet, it literally reacts to the way that you would hit something with an actual bullet. Like, and the game actually looks like a lot of fun. You have the classic third person like Ghost Recon that that is really popular.
And that actually, I was a really big Ghost Recon fan myself.
Right.
And it kind of felt like it brought it back to the roots of that style of gameplay.
Yeah.
I really hope that they'll talk more about multiplayer, maybe even like Terrorist Hunt. I used to like doing Terrorist Hunt in the Ghost Recon series. So hopefully they try to bring stuff from that and pull it over to this, because when I was talking to one of the developers, he was getting my feedback, and that was one thing I was saying that I want to see the multiplayer and that kind of stuff.
You want to see a little bit of the competitive side of things.
Yeah.
I think it's got potential. I think the game's not designed for competitive, but I think that it may be something they can possibly work in. But I think their main focus really is to the casual. For at least for this one, I think Rainbow Six is more their competitive game if they had to choose. But I think that the fun factor behind this with the MMO atmosphere with the XP and stuff.
It was funny when we got done with the actual demonstration. They actually pulled us aside and interviewed us, to get our thoughts, and they actually asked us what we would think if it would go competitive, what our ideas were, because obviously the LAN center and how to deal with esports and stuff.
That was kind of cool. I kind of enjoyed giving Ubisoft some feedback on that. Hopefully they take it.
They definitely seemed very
intrigued.
Yeah. Definitely talked to us for a while.
Almost like they hadn't even really thought about that angle of the game. So I don't know. Maybe our opinions will influence. Maybe something they can add, DLC or something. But
so I know I touched on it. I think a day or two ago. They did announce that tablet support would be there for UAV. As well as 4-player co-op.
Are they going to have like an app for your iPhone or Android?
I believe in the demonstration they were using an iPad, if I'm not mistaken.
That's kind of cool.
But I'm almost positive they'd pick up Android. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Is it like controlling enemies? Did he go into that at all?
He didn't really go into that, but when I was looking at the demo, it looked, I think it was kind of like an RTS where, he was kind of moving it around and, giving them like waypoints of where to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really neat.
I see a lot of developers doing that now.
Yeah.
I think they're really trying to incorporate all your devices into like a game, like the Dead Rising. Sorry.
Yeah. Dead
Rising did the same thing with like the airstrikes, and you had like the It's cool. I get it. I don't know. Personally, I'm a fan of that. I don't see myself pulling out my phone and doing stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But anyway, The Division looks fantastic. I can't wait to see more on it. I will be spending hours in that game for sure. Hopefully playing with you and this gentleman right here.
Right.
So it's going to be awesome, guys. Moving on, we don't have a whole lot of time. We have a lot to still talk about. So
I would say let's tackle Call of Duty. That's definitely a big one.
Oh, yes.
Especially at the LAN Center.
Oh, yes.
Why don't you give us your take on the game?
Call of Duty. Okay. Let me just give you... Last year, we had Ghosts. Of course, we're doing it down at the LAN Center. Everybody plays it. Competitive. It's the only thing in competitive. Everybody knows that. We did not see anything on the multiplayer for this Call of Duty. I'm sure it's not far behind. Now, when I saw Ghosts for the first time last year, and the reactions of people around in the theater when we saw it last year, pretty bleak. I'm not gonna lie. All right, like
wasn't getting the best.
It was not getting good feedback. I walked out going, nothing special. All right. After walking out of this Call of Duty, my jaw was to the floor. It absolutely blew my mind. The sound, especially, that they put into this game.
They finally revamped the weapon sounds.
Yes,
and
they did.
That was one of my biggest issues with the series. Is I felt like they were very behind the 8 ball when it came to Battlefield and their sound effects.
Right.
And even so with the graphics side of things, this time around, I will say their new engine they're using looks really good.
By far the best Call of Duty I've ever seen. Graphically. The game looks just epic, man. I cannot wait to get into the single player of this game. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do for the multiplayer and the competitive side. But I know that they're working very, very close with MLG. So everybody is literally biting at the bit for a chance to see the multiplayer. But man, I'll tell you what, guys, if the single player is the indication of what this game is shaping up to be or is, it's literally gonna. I was worried that it was going to kill Call of Duty with the sci-fi thing, but I think it's going to help.
I mean, the exosuits are really neat. Give you, you're a lot stronger.
And Kevin Spacey. We have Kevin Spacey. You can't go wrong with Kevin Spacey.
One other big thing is the grenade. I thought was really neat.
Yes.
Essentially, you have one grenade, and you can pretty much pick the option, and it'll show you on the grenade, and your guy just clicks what he wants.
We'll try to pull up
throws,
for you.
And when he throws it, there was like home-seeking grenades that would attack you. There were other ones that were kind of like a UAV.
It was nuts. It was nuts. You literally clicked it, and they showed the readout on the grenade. And it was just like click, click, EMP, click, frag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, it was so awesome, and the suits. They're stealing a little bit from Titanfall. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's a booster, kind of like in Titanfall, where you could get.
Which means snipers are going to be a pain in the butt getting to those high perches again. I guarantee.
Probably.
But honestly, this game, guys, huge potential. I think that it's really going to change the series, probably for the better. We'll see what happens, but anyway. Call of Duty, guys, it was awesome. It really was good.
All right, so what's your next pick that you want to go over?
Dude, let's hit Battlefield since we're already on the shooters.
Okay, sure.
Why don't you go ahead and start a little bit about what we saw and what we played, because it's definitely one to talk about.
I've always been a Battlefield fan myself. I like the first couple Call of Duties that came out, and I felt like they were just a little bit too repetitive. With the new one, I felt like it went the next step. With Battlefield, it's kind of nice to get away from the typical Battlefield that we've seen like the last 3 years.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Bad Company 2 is probably my favorite. Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, they were good. Problem is, a lot of glitches. I mean, everybody knows.
Battlefield 4 was broken from day one, and I'm really hoping they don't do that this time.
Yeah, I mean, we actually got a hands-on demo of it, and it seemed like it actually played very smoothly.
And we got to play with Lil Wayne.
Little John.
I'm sorry. My bad. Little John.
Yeah.
We whooped his ass.
Yeah, we were 1-2, and our cameraman was 3, Josh. So.
Yeah, so we killed
everybody.
Little John.
Yeah, we were basically the reason why our team won. But to kind of get into it, this is a cops and robber based multiplayer platform.
Very different take on Battlefield. I'm really excited. The game mode, we'll talk a little bit about that. The game mode that we played was the cops and the police had vaults on each side, and you were both simultaneously at the same time trying to retrieve and extract the money and get it back to your base. Huge potential for competitive, I think, if they were to downsize it.
Yeah, this one was definitely smaller levels, different than the typical big open Battlefield maps. So I feel like finally there's not going to be as much sniping. I think that was one thing that really plagued Battlefield 3 and 4.
I don't think I got sniped at all that entire match.
Yeah, I mean, people were still sniping. It was just, I hate when stuff is overdone with too many people. I mean, I do like to snipe at times, but I'm also, one that, likes to go on a full assault. The gameplay was definitely fast. It felt like a Call of Duty style.
It still felt like Battlefield 4, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it did.
It really seemed like the the same engine that they
Yeah.
use for Battlefield 4.
And I did ask the developers, Levolution is in this too, so you can still bring stuff down. I
Right.
think in the level we played, actually a subway, I think they took out the bridge and subway crashed down.
Right.
I didn't get to see it because, unfortunately, I was one of the ones that got killed from that. So.
Yeah, a huge crane came down, and
Yeah, I saw that too.
I hit under an overpass, but it was really cool. I didn't know what was going on. It was just like about loud. It was like loud noises, and I had no idea what was going on. But I think this game definitely has the potential to change and revitalize what they kind of screwed up in Battlefield 4. I think if they put in the domination smaller maps, it's got the potential for competitive, which is something that obviously is very important.
And didn't you tell me something that you talked to one of their developers and they were actually considering doing competitive?
Yeah, I actually had a chance. We were at an after party, and I happened to run into the environmentalist of Battlefield. And, I dropped a bomb on him. I was like, hey, I own a LAN center. Why aren't you guys putting LAN so I can do tournaments with your game? And he basically responded with a wink. We are working on it. And he was kind of under the influence of alcohol a little bit. So, hey, truth comes out. The truth comes out. So hopefully, I think that it's on their mind. I think it's something that they've probably been hassled about quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think they thought Titanfall was going to go that direction, but I think that it's definitely still possible for Battlefield.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to recap with this, I definitely think that, with their success, but also with a lot of their weakness from Battlefield 4, I think they're going to take a lot of their strengths and put it into this one, and hopefully fix a lot of the glitches and the brokenness.
I think they would be stupid not to.
Yeah, I mean, they can't
do
afford,
that.
They can't afford to do it.
Otherwise,
they're going to lose a lot of people.
They really
especially
would.
with how good Call of Duty came out.
Yeah, so. They need to make sure this game is exactly where it needs to be before they rush it out. I know that they were trying to get it for the next gen consoles, but man, they really got to cross all their T's and dot their I's on this one. They need to be very careful. So anyway, Battlefield looks fantastic, so I'm excited for that too.
Alright, what's your next pick?
Next pick, let's go ahead and talk Dying Lights. Dying Lights?
Okay,
yeah.
Dying Light.
Dying Light was finally playable this year. We saw it last year. It looked awesome. When it got dark, it looked very scary, like you literally had to hide or you would die completely. We got a chance to play it, and I will tell you, it's got that Techland, Dead Island feel to it.
Left 4 Dead, maybe.
Yeah,
give me that
a little bit.
too.
Definitely 4-player co-op. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The mission was very simple.
Very
at this
open.
Point. It was huge.
It was a very open world, which was very nice.
I thought the parkour was a little wonky. I felt like that I couldn't jump or move on some things that I should be able to.
Yeah, that is very true.
I kept getting stuck on things like, why can't I get up on this rock? That's dumb. That's like right here, Other than that, though, like the combat felt really good. It felt literally like Dead Island that everybody knows and loves, and it didn't feel as repetitive. I don't know what they did differently, but I think it's definitely a work in progress. I don't think it comes out till 2015. I think it got pushed back. But it definitely, I am excited still for it. I think they need to get it out soon, though, because I think a lot of people, it kind of lost its momentum. But it definitely is looking good. I just think they need to really concentrate a little bit more on the parkour, because that's what they're like building it off of. And they're like, hey, we're doing parkour zombies. Yes! You know? So I was expecting to be doing like Mirror's Edge type stuff or Assassin's Creed where I can run up wall. Like, it seemed very, very limited to what I could do. Yeah,
well, actually, you brought up another game. Assassin's Creed. We really haven't touched on that, and I know that Assassin's Creed has a big following as well.
Finally, we're getting Assassin's Creed co-op.
Yes, 4-player.
4-player. They said that.
They said it was drop-in.
They said it was drop-in, drop-out co-op. Now, whether it is part of the entire main story. Like if
they didn't really elaborate on that.
They didn't elaborate, which that is like a huge concern of mine. Like, I don't want just another base mode. I don't want a challenge mode. I want my friends and you guys to be able to jump into my game while I'm playing Assassin's Creed and help me do missions. Like, I don't want assassination missions that I can only do co-op.
Yeah.
So,
One thing I absolutely loved is the fact that when you were on the corner of a building,
right.
it is really easy and to basically get from the top of the building to the street level.
Yeah, explain how they did that, because that's crazy.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you had to hold like one of the trigger buttons. I think you held X, and it kind of did fluid movement all the way down to the ground.
Cool too.
Yeah,
like,
it did. It flowed very well.
I think they did a really good job in doing something just a little bit different instead of the typical Assassin's Creed thing. Mm-hmm. Man, the game visually looks so good too.
Yeah.
It's truly the next gen Assassin's Creed for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about the time period that it's in.
See, the one thing I did like about this is it brought a lot of the building atmosphere back, and that was one thing I like doing is going from treetop to treetop. What was it? Assassin's Creed 3 it was in.
It was the Indian one, right?
Yeah,
the French and Indian War. This is not far after that. Right?
Yeah.
If I'm correct. I think I am correct, though.
Yeah.
It's like 1769 or something.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about that. I swear I am, because I was miserable playing that one. Now, Black Flag, that's a whole different ballgame. I loved it because I could take a pirate ship anywhere and explore islands and stuff. But I'm worried, man. I am really worried. I felt like that time period is really, really boring the way they portray it. So. But, the 4-player co-op may make up for that. So, it's got potential. I'm still very, very intrigued by the game, for sure.
I think we need to definitely hit on a big one, another one, Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh my god.
Absolutely amazing.
Dude, that may be...
Game,
oh, wow.
They essentially played a complete, I guess, scene from Act 2, from what they were telling us, which incorporated the Batmobile along with Batman.
Yes.
And you could be in the middle of a combo with Batman, and there was one point where the Batmobile was on the outside of a window, and you were in your middle of your combo, and you were using your Batmobile to shoot people in the combo. It was insane.
The Batmobile is going to make this game. The tank mode, man, it was insane. The fact that you can... When you're, like, apprehending a big villain, it's got this little, like, storage compartment that you put the villain in and just eject. Oh, man, it just destroyed my brain. The Batmobile is going to make this game.
Yeah.
I'm hoping you're watching footage of this right now, and I think we're really going to try to let you see kind of what we saw. Hopefully they release it by the time this airs.
And one thing I kind of picked up too, Arkham Knight is actually one of the bad guys in the game.
Right, yeah.
Who kind of looks like a cyborg-looking guy.
Right. I thought when they said Batman Arkham Knight that they were actually talking about Batman.
But I think it's actually this villain.
It is this villain, I think.
Yeah.
And that was kind of... You had to really be paying attention when you were watching their demo.
Yeah.
But, man, this game, guys, it's so
good. We
good.
still have some more to go over, but I would definitely say that this might get my vote for best. We're going to go into that section in a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
we're going to wrap it up with that.
I mean, obviously you can see both of us are really excited for this game.
Oh my god.
Rocksteady put everything into this, and it definitely shows.
I want to play it right now. The game looks so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the kind of smaller ones at E3, that actually will be out by the time you guys are watching this. Check it out. You can come down to Lens Center and check it out because we'll have it. Is Sniper Elite 3.
Version 3, yeah.
Man, I'm a huge fan of this series.
Yeah, I played the last one. It was great.
If you guys haven't played it, and again, we're running you footage right now on it, but the fact of the slow motion, the sniper, perfect shot. They did such an amazing job in V2. And V3, oh my god, they went down to like muscles and tendons, and even as far as shooting a bullet to knock out a truck. They're going through like the freaking engine, and the parts are fantastic. And it plays really well for a third-person shooter.
Actually had a pretty awesome kill. I basically lined the two guys up and shot the grenade on
went
the
through
one
both
guy,
of them?
and blew up the grenade and blew both of them up. So yeah, they brought some of that that feel from the second one into.
And I was able to talk with the developer, and he said the entire game campaign start to end is 2-player co-op, drop in, drop out.
Cool.
Drop in, drop out co-op. That is so awesome because they kind of did that in V2,
I like that.
but they kind of took the story element out of the game. So he said there will also be challenges, challenge modes and things like that.
Yeah.
But dude, this game plays fantastic.
This was also in the Africa setting of World War II.
Yes.
To kind of bring out more of the color. And
Right,
make
and it looks really. It's not
yeah.
like that typical gray and black that we see in World War II. Like it allowed them to elaborate on something a little different and more appealing to the eye. And trust me, it works. This game is awesome. So come down to Lansing and check it out because I'm sure we have it.
Let's tackle Alien.
Okay. Alien Isolation. Yeah.
So to just kind of give you, I guess a feel for the game. It scared the shit out of me. Put it that way.
Yeah.
It's definitely a survival horror game.
This demo that we played was not actually the campaign. It was actually the challenge mode of the game. Hard as all hell. I died like 8 or 9 times. The good thing is they let you play it as much as you could. Before.
I was getting a little frustrated at first because I couldn't figure out what I was doing, and then he kind of showed me the controls, one of the developers, and I started getting the hang of it.
Right.
But when we tell you that the AI is smart,
it is
smart. Really smart. I mean, it can smell you if you're. Here's a good example. I was in a locker, okay, and the alien came up to the locker, and I actually had to hold back, so I would lean back. So
and the left trigger to hold your breath.
Yeah, to hold your breath, and then also so it couldn't smell me.
Right.
It can also see you by line of sight, he said, too.
Line of sight.
Yeah.
And it literally has great vision. Like, I think the reason they did this is to really tap on how smart this species really is, which is something that's never been done in a game. If you guys played Alien Colonial Marines Gearbox's game, which we're not even going to go into that.
Yeah, this challenge already made me, think that game was poorly done.
The AI in that game was just stupid. They would just run into this stuff. This one alien, because there's one alien, they had enough time to focus on the intelligence of it, and it adapts to its environment. Like, you will literally see it. You will look, like, hide behind some boxes, turn, and it'll be like running around above you in the ceiling, drop in behind you. This game, guys, is literally going to revitalize the series, and it's going to scare the living crap out of you.
See, when I think of a good Alien game, I remember back on Atari Jaguar, for those that actually know what I'm talking about. But
I do.
Alien vs. Predator was an amazing game.
This
made me think of that and how, intense and, the anxiety levels.
But it's on a whole nother level as far as fear. Like, they literally are putting the fear into you in this game. And I think it really pulls from games like Outlast and games that are just that creepy, like, literally, and there's no weapons. Like, if you find a flamethrower, I think the flamethrower might be the only weapon. It doesn't
kill him, it literally
scares him away. You cannot kill the alien in this game, at least not yet, I guess.
I mean, there are diversions. I turned on a radio, and then it came running, and I ran into another room.
So you got to really utilize your environment. Literally, you're running the whole time.
And you can hide in a lot of places, like under desks and grates. There's little vents that you can go through.
Right,
also, the character is actually not.
It's Amanda Ripley.
It's Amanda Ripley, which is.
If you know what the series is, Amanda Ripley is the daughter of Ellen Ripley, who is Sigourney Weaver in the movies. I like the direction they went with that. Because that story has never been explained in Aliens.
Well, I don't know if we were going to go into that.
We're not going to go into that, but anyway, it's a cool concept. If you want to know more about that, just Google Aliens. Really, I mean, it's a really cool twist on the series, and I am totally stoked for this game. I'm a huge Aliens fan. I know you are too. This game's great, guys. It may be one of my top picks for sure.
Well, one game that I was really excited to actually get to see was Mortal Kombat 10. And I really feel like they took the elements of Mortal Kombat 9 and took it to the next level.
Absolutely. And Mortal Kombat 9 was such an amazing leap forward for Mortal Kombat.
And this one, it looks even better. They also took some elements from Injustice, where you can actually swing off of...
use your environment, that kind of stuff.
Not overdone like Injustice, but at least from the level I saw, it looked like it was a pretty good flow.
Nice.
There was this one level where you were on a bridge with water in the background, and a dead body was floating. You actually picked him up and threw him at the other guy.
What?
Yeah, it was pretty
What?
crazy.
Get out of here.
Now, big thing in Mortal Kombat 9 is you could also get yourself trapped in the corners. In this, you can actually get yourself out of it by using one of the elements from the environment.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty neat. That way it keeps the flow of the game going and quick. You could also be within combo and basically do a backflip onto, say, a branch that would be from a tree as one of the environmental pieces, and then do a super kick back into them.
What?
Yeah.
Now, is that all like a tap of a button, or is it like?
From the way similar, yeah, kind of the way they did it in Injustice. To give
Okay,
you a good
so
idea.
it's like in Injustice, you would hit the RB button, you can utilize the environment, throw it. So it's something as simple as that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Let's see.
X-ray mode.
Well, yeah. Oh, X-ray mode looks amazing. They definitely have a lot more detail in the way I guess the punch like interacts with like the face and the chest. I mean, there were some really nasty ones. You guys probably seen the one where Sub-Zero goes in and actually breaks the guy's spine. I think it was Scorpions.
Yeah, that was in the trailer.
Yeah. They showed us a couple more, and this game is gorier and just brutal. To kind of
Mortal Kombat.
Now, a new thing that they did, which I thought was great, is when you're picking your character, you have 3 different attributes that you can basically pick between. Okay?
Attributes, okay.
So, to give you an example, Scorpion, he has the normal teleport, he has a spear, what else does he have? He has the fire where
fire underneath.
Well, now you can pick kind of like a defensive mode, a fire mode that basically puts
these like perks from Call of Duty type?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Or is it like a battle stance?
No, it's more like a perk, I would say.
So you can actually equip them before going into battle?
Yeah, so depending on
awesome.
who you're fighting and what perk they use, you can kind of counteract it. So in the demonstration they showed Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, and in this particular case, they went with the dual swords as one of his elements, and so Sub-Zero went with his. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but he basically had ice down his arms and made him more powerful against heat characters.
Now,
if that kind of makes sense.
I like where they're going with this.
Yeah.
I remember if you were going into Evo or any kind of competitive, fighting game, you would always have to select a character that counteracted the character they selected, and you would have to wait till they selected theirs to okay, well if he's playing Sub-Zero, I'm obviously gonna play Katana because you know what I mean. So the fact that you're able to take your favorite character and put attributes to counteract what they're doing, I love that idea. That is so awesome.
Really cool. Also, it changes some of your special weapons too.
Right.
This time, Sub-Zero, you know how he can usually freeze himself, and if you jump into him, it freezes that guy?
Right.
Well, this time, you can actually pick it up and throw it at your opponent.
Dude, that's awesome.
So there's a lot of little differences that they threw.
Now, answer me this question. This is very important. And I know you guys will agree with me.
And I think I know where he's going to also.
Did they bring back animalities?
Unfortunately, they didn't touch on that. They did kind of give...
That's not a no. That's not a no, guy.
They definitely gave the idea that brutalities were in there.
Okay, all right.
So they kind of touched on that. But I will say, they showed us 5 fatalities. They are awesome. They are really gory. To the point where I know in the E3 trailer they showed the one where I think Scorpion threw a fireball and went through Sub-Zero. Well, essentially what happens at that part is heart drops down, and then he goes to the side, and Scorpion basically chops off his face, and it basically comes off like this.
Oh, yeah.
And then your brain comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Nice.
Couple other things. They showed us 4 new characters. I can't remember the 3 of them, but I do remember one, which was I thought was kind of funny. Her name is Cassie Cage, which is basically the daughter of Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade.
When was she ever in a Mortal Kombat? Is that a brand new character?
Yep, brand new character. She is the daughter of like I said, Johnny Cage and
now,
Sonya Blade.
Now, What?
Yeah.
No! I knew that was going to happen.
Yep.
Oh, no. Now, is Johnny Cage, do you think Johnny Cage will be in it?
They only showed Sub-Zero and Scorpion as the original characters, and then the 4 new ones. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. You obviously got to see Witcher. How did you like
Witcher? Man, this game blew my mind just for the sheer scale of the world. These guys, this developer, literally, man, they put a lot of work into this environment. The graphics are just stunning for an open world RPG like this. Okay. He literally went to the top of a mountain and did a 360 pan around, and he goes, everything you see, you can go to.
Yeah. How? And you told me that it takes what, like an hour and a half to go from
it
one
literally
side to the
takes
other?
an hour. If you were to run from one end of the world to the other, it would take you an hour and a half.
Wow. And
they've completely, I don't know if you guys have ever played The Witcher 2, or if you played The Witcher 2. I hated it. Okay. And I love the concept. I mean, I just love the concept of Geralt.
Wasn't there a lot to do with the fighting mechanics? And
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is the fact of that Witcher 2 was so good as far as the game that it was. Okay. But the combat was so bad that it made it unplayable for me. Oh, okay. I literally lost interest because it was just so Roguetronic. You know what I mean?
So, was this game a hands-on, or did you just see it?
It was a hands-on. It wasn't a hands-on demo. It was a played demo that they showed us. But the demo is probably similar to the one they used in the press conference. You trap the griffin and stuff. Okay. And then they showed me a little bit more after that. But man, the combat has been completely revamped from the second one. Almost like an action RPG. Okay. And that's what I wanted, and that's what's going to make me go and get this game. I hours and hours and hours of gameplay. Yeah. You're saying, and I can see because of the sheer scale of the environment. Literally, there's so much to do in this game. Wow. Okay. So much to do in this game. I highly recommend checking out more stuff on it, and I can't wait for it to drop. It's going to be amazing.
Let me ask you this, to kind of move on. How would you compare it to Fable 3? I know that you got to play.
Oh, Fable Legends! I totally want to talk about
Fable Legends. I'm sorry.
Fable Legends is, compared to Fable Legends, it's a completely different game. Okay. Fable Legends is more of a goofy RPG. I mean, we all know Fable. We all love Fable, And this game, Fable Legends, played like any other Fable game. But I got some. I'll tap into Fable here in a second. But Witcher is on a more mature level. It's more of a gritty, bloody, you know what I mean? It's more man, I'm trying to think of something I can compare it to. I want to say Diablo 3, but it's not that type of game. It's a third-person behind view of an RPG. But The Witcher is a more mature game than Fable is. It's not as cartoony. It's more realistic looking. You're going to be fighting a lot of mythological creatures and stuff. That's the whole concept. Check it out, guys. It's awesome.
All right, well, let's go ahead and touch on Fable.
Yeah, Fable. I didn't get to play the campaign, but I do have some information for you Fable fans out there. You are able to play 4-player co-op through the whole game, which is something we've never been able to do. Yeah. I think it's always been 2-player co-op, but you would see orbs of your friends. Okay. I think the orbs will still be there as far as what they're saying, but you can have 4 people in your party, so to speak. So it's literally the Fable that we've all been waiting for.
So, is it still the same where you can go good or evil based on what
you definitely, and they have a whole multiplayer aspect to it too. Oh, okay. Literally, it's once again they're bringing in this RTS bad guy. You know what I mean? Commander mode, where you go up and you control your enemies. Now that is a completely separate part of the game. But you will still be able to adapt your characters to go good or evil, no matter, and you can play with your friends no matter if they're good or evil too. Oh, okay. It just depends on how you want to play the game. But this is the Fable.
Could you? I was gonna say, could you imagine having 3 people be bad, and when you go into the town, everybody's
yelling at
and then
you,
you're the one good guy. Then what happens?
Well, I guess you're screwed. Yeah. I guess you're outnumbered, but. This Fable seriously has the potential to be the Fable that we've all been waiting for. Okay.
Cool.
I can't wait. I didn't get to play the campaign, unfortunately. It was that challenge mode.
Yeah.
But it played good. Now, one thing I will say that I did not like is the character I played was this chick with a giant shield.
Okay.
And you actually use the R trigger to attack. It was very basic.
Okay.
It was literally 3 attacks.
Yeah, especially for a next-gen console.
Yeah,
I would think that they would have more.
I feel like that really needs to be adjusted. Maybe it's a very early game. I think I don't think it's not coming out until 2015. So they got plenty of time to change it. But literally, that's the only thing I saw that I didn't like. I feel like they really need to get back into. I think they need to advance on what they've already accomplished in the battle system. So.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I can't wait to see the finished product because it does have that potential to be the Fable we all have been waiting for. So.
Yeah, I guess to kind of move on, there were a lot of arcade games to basically play at the conference.
One in particular that stood out for sure.
Yeah, it's a game called Ori, which is exclusive to Microsoft.
It's a platformer, right?
Yeah, it's a side-scroll platformer, and man, when I tell you that this game looks absolutely beautiful, and just I guess the level design, it's one of the nicest looking games that I've ever seen.
Bold words.
Yeah.
Bold words.
I mean,
this is an indie game, right? Is this an indie game, or is this actually from a big developer?
It's an indie game.
It is an indie game. Okay.
And the way the developer kind of explained it to me is that they didn't have like their own studio. It was like 8 or 9 guys that were spread over the world, basically.
The definition of indie, for sure. Yeah.
That were working on the game.
That's cool, man.
And if I'm not mistaken, he said it took about 4 years to come out with this game.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I mean, to definitely take a look at the trailer, you'll definitely see what I mean as far as how beautiful the colors are, just the overall art. The music was pretty phenomenal.
Does it look like that kind of artsy? Like, does it look like Limbo at all? Like, or is it completely different?
No, Limbo is kind of a different game because.
In fact, if we can, we could probably pull up a trailer. Talking about it, but
just kind of give an idea. And the music was really good. It kind of made me think back to Journey from PS4 or PS3.
Journey's a great game.
Yeah.
Like the way they.
I mean that game won
Game of the Year.
A music award.
Was it Music of the Year or was it Game of the Year?
Well, I think it was Game of the Year, but it also won an actual music award.
Right.
It's like the first game to ever do that. All right. So basically, to kind of recap things. I did feel that overall the E3 this year was great, being my first time.
It was awesome, man.
There were some things I really wanted to see. I missed the Order. I really wanted to try that out. Didn't really get to spend as much time with Sony and Nintendo as I wanted to. There were some really cool Smash Brothers tournaments going on.
Yeah, there was.
So that game looks great. That might be something you might want to think about if you ever.
Yeah, we don't have time to go into it, but Smash Bros looks amazing.
All right, so let's go ahead and do top 2 picks. There were so many good games this year. Why don't you go ahead and give me 2?
All right, 2. My top 2 picks for this E3 2014, Batman. Batman Arkham Knight is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
We waited in line for 2.5 hours to see this game, and man, the Batmobile, as soon as I saw it, I jizzed my pants.
Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy, the stuff you can do with the Batmobile. So the graphics were great. The sheer size of the city was great. I can't wait to see what kind of missions there are. And the Batmobile just took the cake for me for Batman.
Cool. All right.
So second one, man, I'm gonna have to say Call of Duty, and I'm punching myself in the face right now because I never say Call of Duty is one of my top picks. It's usually Battlefield, but Call of Duty. I am so pumped for this Call of Duty. I don't know if it's just me, but I think this one's going to be truly different. Just the story just looks epic, man. It's going to be awesome, man. I cannot wait for Call of Duty.
Awesome. My picks, I will have to agree with you on Batman. That was my top pick for the whole conference. I absolutely loved this game. Being able to interact with the Batmobile and Batman, I mean, you can literally, jump, not even jump out, shoot out of the Batmobile straight into a Batman glide. So that's my first pick. Second pick, it goes back to the roots of what I love, would be The Division. I love that style of third-person, behind-the-shoulder, strategical shooter, I guess you could call it.
Right, yeah.
So I would definitely have to go with that as my second pick.
Awesome.
So.
All right, well, this is Dustin and Nick, or a.k.a. Hills Misfit, Hills Octane. We are done, man. This is it. E3 is over.
I know. And my feet are thankful because my feet are killing me with all the walking we did.
So tired and exhausted, but thanks, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed our post-show and our E3 coverage. Have a fantastic evening, night, day, whatever it is, and we're out.
All right, thanks.